And welcome to the second part. I still have a lot of components to test around, including the 3 optical drives. So 2 have ID connectors and 1 has SATA connector. The Blu-ray player has the SATA connector. I've managed to find a nice cable which I think it would fit our needs. This goes in the motherboard and it can support 2 ID devices. So I think this would suffice. 2 SATA cables for SSD and the Blu-ray. And yeah, let me show you the motherboard then. So the Intel Q6600 there. This doesn't have such a beefy cooling on the VRM. I'm not sure if that's negative or positive in this case. I'm not familiar with such old motherboards, but it looks like the Northbridge has a beefier radiator. Southbridge looks quite standard. It supports DDR2, 800 and up to 1066 MHz, dual channel 4 sticks. We have a connector here for SLI or Crossfire configuration. I don't know what this motherboard supports. I'll put the specs on screen. Regular 24-pin connector for the power supply. Floppy disk connector, which we're not going to use. I'm not going to go into floppy disks at all. They're very unreliable. We have the ID connector. Okay, this might be an issue because it only has 1 ID connector and we have 2 ID drives, so I'll have to test them one by one, not at the same time. 2 PCI Express 16X connectors, 3 PCI Express 1X connectors, supporting old PCI devices for sound cards or wireless cards. There is a CD-in connector in here that will go into one of these if it has one. Analog audio. So there is a cable going directly from the CD player, if you have an audio CD, straight into the motherboard, and then it's forwarded straight directly into the sound card. This would allow you to play audio CDs directly without needing a software. I think most of them, well, this one doesn't have. Well, some players, some older units had play and skip. Play, forward, skip song. So they had 2 extra buttons on them. None of these had them, indicating they're a bit newer. On the back panel we have everything that the motherboard at that time would need. Full 6-channel audio, Ethernet, 4 USBs, Firewire, serial port, what's this called, optical out for sound, and coaxial out for sound as well. So you could hook this up with coaxial to let's say like a vinyl player, probably. I'm not sure if this would work as an input as well. I'll have to look in the specs, but there were, for example, home theater systems where you would hook up the audio through a coaxial. And yeah, I'm happy about these connectors, the mouse and keyboard PS2 types. Other than that, the CPU 8-pin connector, plenty. Fan connectors, there's one for the CPU, 1, 2, and yeah, 3, 1, 2, 3 connectors for case fans, which I think they're more than enough. If you have fans in the front of the case, you would hook them up here. If you have one on the back here, and maybe on top here. So I've replaced the battery with a new one. I always do that, like I've mentioned, with all the older motherboards that I'm buying, just to avoid any unpleasant situations where it might not work because of this small thing that people might dismiss. I can see it has an SPD-IF in connector as well. So if you notice here, so not only that the optical drives had an analog cable, had a digital audio as well. So this, you could hook up a digital signal as well straight to the motherboard from the optical unit. Yeah, quite complete motherboard. It has a ton of internal SATA ports, 6 regular ones and 2 G SATA. I think those were different. They were not hooked up to the South bridge. I think they were separate on a different controller, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, all solid Japanese caps. So Gigabyte, this board was looking good, and what I love the most about it is, like I mentioned, the colors. Like every single thing, it's of a different color. I absolutely love it. It's fun. Black and white and gray, it's not fun. So imagine putting RGB, because RGBs were not a thing back then. Imagine hooking up RGBs to systems like this in the past. Yeah, there will be even more colors. So yeah, let's get to the business, and I'll start by installing the CPU cooler. Need to make a bit of room in here. Okay, I have plenty of room now to install our CPU cooler. As I've mentioned before, is this Thermalright 3 copper pipes. Let's see if I remember how to put it back together without a manual. These are mobile. It's usually marked in the corners like 775 or LGA 115X, but on this occasion there's no marks. Okay, let's have a look how they go. Okay, yeah, so they are flexible. They will just match your configuration there and move to the required position. Yeah, okay, this looks like it's in place. What was next? Yeah, so the accessories. These were the standoffs. Yeah, with the plastic protector against the motherboard, so it doesn't scratch the PCB. I didn't look inside to check if the pins were intact. I'll do that one next. I want to make sure I'm not wasting my time in here with something that is already broken. I think if we screw these in by hand, tighten them by hand, would be enough. I don't think they require to be very tight. Yeah, so let's have a look to see how our socket looks like. And that's our CPU, the Core 2 Quad Q6600. No damage on it, no damaged contacts, and it looks like the socket, it's all intact. Even if you can't see it with your bare eyes without a magnifying device, when you move it around, so light is going from different directions, you would notice immediately if one of the pins is bent or not, because it would just reflect the light differently. So this one looks all right. Okay, happy days. Good. Now this one, does it go like that or like that? Well, I think it goes both ways, but it depends how you want to the airflow. Depending on the case you have. I haven't decided yet to put it in a case, so I don't know. But some cases have airflow going from the front of the case towards the back. So the installation would make sense to be like this, for example, yeah. So I would have to put this like that because the bracket goes like that. But some cases have a down upwards air direction. There are some cases having fans on the back blowing air towards the top and then exhausted at the top. I have one of those cases from Jonesbow, I think it was. I'll probably show it on the channel later on or not. It depends, because I'm planning to sell it. If it's not sold, I might show it. It's quite interesting design. So we decided that the orientation would be like this. So I need a bracket like that. Now I have 6 screws in here, but I only need 4. Let me check if these are all... Wow, they're so small. I need something magnetic. Okay, so they look the same to me, so any 4 would do probably. I like it when it's not overcomplicated. Sometimes you can have like 5, 6, 10 kinds of screws on the same CPU cooler. I don't get it why. You could do... You can design things with the same screws. You don't need 10 types. But just to complicate things. This is like a simple enough design. It has not a lot of tolerance. You have to be very exact where you screw them in. Okay. Okie dokie. Now let's put a bit of a splash of thermal paste. That's enough. I'll spread it with my ice cream. Where is it? If I can find it though. I found it. I found my trustworthy ice cream spoon or spatula, whatever you want to call it. Let's see. Nicely and even. Very, very satisfying. Don't skip this step, because you will regret it. You don't know what you're missing. This is one of the most fun parts of installing a cooler, yeah? Putting the thermal paste. So why skip it? Don't skip it. Make sure it's done right. Okay. This will go... Uh-oh. What did I do? Like that. Okay. Yeah. Correct. Is it? Yeah. So I'm gonna put it like so. And this will be held in place by this one. So what's nice about thermal, right, is because they designed the heat pipes. You see, it's not centered, so it's a bit offset to that, towards the back, because if you put like a fan in here, it will allow the memory to install without heating or without any clearance issues. So if it would be towards the center, we risk that the fan would block the first slot here. Some big coolers block the first 2 slots. It looks like it has a symmetric construction here, so probably you could mount 2 fans on push-pull configuration. It came only with 1 fan, to be honest, but I think it's enough. I don't think it requires two fans. It's a small sized cooler, well, radiator. Okay, very rigid now, doesn't move at all. Okay, let's see if I can mount the fan. I don't know how this, oh yeah, so I remember I removed the silicone, there was a silicone grommet in here, which would get rid of the vibrations, so the plastic doesn't go directly on the metal fins. So I'll have to find a replacement. Okay, it took me a while to find these. I could not remember where I placed them. They're basically silicone small pads. You can put them on different things on the bottom so it doesn't scratch against the surface or eliminates the vibration. I've already used, as you can see, plenty of them on fans and other devices, and they have like a sticky side. Okay, let's see if we put them here, should be fine because we don't use screws. So I'm gonna put them like that in the corner, attach them to the fan. The old silicone grommet was creating like a distance between the fan and the radiator, and if we don't replace it with something, it would not sit flush. The thing is, I'm not sure, I hope these are not too thick. So let's see how this goes. Will they be like that, or will they be like that? I don't know. Let's try like that. Okay, and then how would they hold the fan in place? Okay, maybe it's wrong like that. I don't know why there is no standard for these. I think I've seen more than 20 kinds of fan retention brackets. It's annoying, truly. Okay, this goes there or not? I think we are getting somewhere. Okay, I think maybe. Oh. Probably like this. Wow, it's very tight. I think my silicone pads are a bit thicker than the original, but yeah, it suits all purposes. The one on the bottom doesn't want to go in. Okay, it's in now. Yeah, this radiator is in the way as well. It's like 1 mm clearance there. So okay, it's in place. That's the power fan, and that's the system fan. Where's the CPU fan? It's in the back here. The CPU fan is actually there in the back. You see? Yeah, here. It's very weird position for the CPU. It's usually on the top of the board. Can't recall seeing the connector here before. Okay. Now we're gonna install the memory kit. It's the same kit that it didn't work on the other motherboard, but originally it came with this board, so and there are more reasons to believe that it would work with this board. They're 800 megahertz as well, which are supported by the board. Looks good. Okay, let's connect everything else, including our optical units. And we have the CPU connector in here. Okay, I think it's positioned differently. Why is it so short? Okay. Power supply, 24 pin. It's in. Now let's play with this IDE cable. I haven't used it in ages. So if I remember, this would go in the motherboard and these two would go in the drives, and some drives would use master slave configuration, or depends on the SATA ones don't have it, but the IDE ones, cable select if you want the cable to decide which is the main drive, or you could just do it manually. This is set as a master, for example, which I'm going to leave it like that because it's going to be the only device on the IDE connector. So I'm going to plug one end in the motherboard and the other end in the drive, because this is usually on cable select, that's the master position. Okay. The graphics card doesn't need a power connector. I will use the same drive as I used on the other motherboard. I don't have any reason to think that it's not gonna work, so no point in installing the system twice. Yeah. Let's use a red cable. I like colors. Something wrong with the camera. Doesn't focus. Okay, come on. Why is it not focusing correctly? Okay. SATA 1. Which one is it? Top one. Top one is the first one. Connecting the PC speaker to see if it beeps correctly. And then secondary cable from I have this from an old Dell system, which you see is very short and slim, so quite handy. I'm sharing the same SATA power cable between the SSD and the Blu-ray unit. And I would need a Molex connector for the ID unit. So not only the cable was different for them, the data cable, the power cable was also different in the past. Good stuff, all connected. I think I'm missing the my trustworthy power button. Very satisfying. How can you compare this with shorting the pins with the metal? But don't compare. So stop doing it. It's stupid. Use an elegant solution. Now let's plug in our peripherals. PS2 mouse. It's all in. DVI, the GPU, and the keyboard, it's USB. Speakers, the green for audio output, and let's find the connector for the speakers. Okay, found it. The power. We're all done. Yeah, so it's time to fire it up, see how it behaves. Okay, all the cameras are pointing at you, PC, so don't fail me please. Let's power it on. Turning the power supply on. It doesn't want to start. It starts spinning for a second and then it stops. Keeps doing that. Power's on for a fraction of a second. Power supply fan spins and then it stops. CPU fan spins and then it stops. And yeah, optical units are doing it like a sound. I'll have to see what's wrong. Okay, I'm gonna attempt starting it with just one memory stick in the first position. Now I get the same it's the same outcome. Didn't make any difference. I'm gonna try to reset BIOS. I don't think this is gonna fix anything, but we'll see. Okay, so it doesn't matter what I've tried, it would not boot. I've tried memory sticks on all 4 channels, nothing. So the other motherboard, unfortunately, it's not working. I've put the Q6600 in the first motherboard, in the Abbott one, and basically I've moved everything. I've put the other CPU cooler. It's very silent compared to the other Zalman one. The other GPU, the HD 6450, We have the same sound card and wireless card. It works. Yeah, we're connected to Wi-Fi. I have my own memory here because the other two kits would not. They got, they're functional, all of them. They got recognized in Windows, but in BIOS, but it doesn't work properly. So I'm thinking it's a compatibility issue, and everything else is connected here. I'm gonna try these two optical units first, and yeah, let's give it a go. Okay, we're back. I couldn't make the motherboard work. I don't know what's wrong with it, to be honest. So I moved all the hardware onto the functional one. I moved the quad core, the Q6600, the thermal right cooler, the small Radeon card as well. I've added the sound card and the wireless, and the two optical units in here. You can see them on camera. And the same, I'm using the same SSD because I think they're similar. I don't think we have any issue with the drivers. So we're gonna fire it up, see if it runs. Well, I'm hoping that the Q6600 is not broken. So I'm hoping that it works at least on this board and the Radeon 6450. So what we haven't seen so far working was the thermal right cooler, the CPU, and the Radeon card, the optical units as well. Let's fire it up. Button here. Okay, it does not fire up. Okay. Took 2 tries. Okay, we had the BIOS speaker beep. Everything went very smooth in here and fast, so it seems that the settings were remembered by BIOS from the last video. It's basically just the CPU changed for the motherboard as far as the motherboard is concerned. So everything should be working. Yeah, so we have a functional GPU, functional CPU, and the cooler. I can't even hear it. It's much quieter than the Zalman one. So yeah, thumbs up, thermal right. Let's see if the optical units are recognized, both of them. Yeah, wow, okay. So I'm happy about this one. The Blu-ray player, this is what I was after mainly, and the other one. So let's see if they open up. Okay, the DVD-ROM doesn't open. It makes a sound like trying to open, but it doesn't. So it's probably a lock somewhere or something broken. Let's see the Blu-ray. Yeah, that one opens just fine. So no issues with the Blu-ray. Okay. So far everything's good. What it didn't work, it's the motherboard. So from all the bundle so far, the motherboard is not functional, which is a bit of a bummer because the CPUs are quite cheap, but the motherboards are rare and they're harder to find. So yeah, it is what it is. I can't you know, complain too much for a free bundle. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna run the same test as we did in the last video to compare them head to head to see what extra performance the quad core brings and to see how the 6450 fares against the 4850. Let's start with the Passmark software. It says clocks have changed. I don't know what that means. Okay, it seems that the license has expired, so... Ah, okay, I know what it means. Is the Windows clock is off. So let's see if Windows 7 still provides updating the time, syncing with the Microsoft servers. Everything's set to auto in here. Update now, let's see if it does it. Okay, it worked. So the time is now showing correctly, 5th of October. Well, let's see if we start the software again. It should work correctly. So even without the license, it still allows us to do the normal testing. So let's run the benchmark. Number of processes set in preferences is not optimal for a current system. Would you like to automatically correct this? Yes, okay. Okay, let's give it a go. Okay, whilst the benchmarks are running, let's see how the optical units look like. So, as I've mentioned, the Blu-ray player opens up. We'll see if it reads any disc, but the antennas here, let's move them a bit from there. Okay, so this one, I press the button, you can hear the motor trying to open the door, well, the tray, and the LED is blinking, and then it stops doing. But all optical units have this hole in here, which I'm gonna try to push it in. So you can open these optical units even if they're not powered on by forcing them with a pin, and the tray will be ejected. I have a paper clip which I've just shaped it like this, so I have like a long part here, long side, and let's see, let's press it. Okay, so now it's stopped, and when you feel like it's stopping, you just press it. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know if it's old stuff in it. Yeah, it looks like a bit of dirt in there. So the belt is running, the motor is running. It's just, it won't release it. Oh yeah, okay, it does. So maybe it fixed it. It was probably a bit of gunk. Yeah, you have to press it multiple times, so you have to basically spam the button. Maybe it's just it was not used in a very long time. Okay, it doesn't work anymore. It's hit and miss, isn't it? Yeah, so I'm not planning to use it like that, and to be fair, I've never opened one of these, so I don't know how to fix it or anything. But considering there's 3 optical units, you know, and this one opens up, I'm happy, you know, 2 out of 3 completely functional, if this works, yeah. Okay, the first benchmark from Passmark software is done. 1233.3 score. Let's see what this means. Okay, so CPU wise, we are much better than the Core 2 Duo E8400. On 2D score we are actually there is here at number 5 there is a Radeon 6450, but we're slightly under. That's 15% higher, probably because it has a passive version and lower clocks. And then for 3D we are quite low. The reference Radeon HD 6450 is 18.9% higher. So our version here, it seems like a very low tier one. I'm not sure what's wrong with this tripod. Okay. Memory, I think we're doing good. Nothing changed, and I'll put them on screen here somewhere to compare last run with this run. The SSD is quite fast on the bottom compared to the other discs. So let's go ahead with 3D Mark 2006 now. I'll leave it on default as I did with the other one, so we can compare them apples to apples. It takes a bit longer because hardware has changed, so it's building the database, is reading the hardware. And there we go, run 3D Mark. I'll leave it to run and get back to it. Yeah, really a poor result here in 3D Mark. 8 frames, 9 frames, 11 frames, 12 frames in the first 4 graphical tests. Probably as expected. The 6450, it's more like a display adapter rather than a gaming card. But what I did, I went through my things and found this amazing R9 290X, which I think it will show better the capabilities of the platform, and I'm planning to install some games as well that they weren't running well in my previous videos. Doom 3 and Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time. On my Dell XP video these were not running properly at all, and we'll see how it runs with the 290X, so I'll get back to you once I plug the card in and install the driver. Okay, we have the new graphics card installed and the drivers. I've also installed Prince of Persia and Doom 3. I've managed to test both of the optical units, one for Prince of Persia, one for Doom 3, both installed separately, just fine. Blu-ray disc player is really quiet, but the other Lightscribe DVD writer is quite noisy, you'll see. So I'm gonna start running 3D Mark 2006 to see the difference compared to the other card. We'll see if we can eliminate the GPU bottleneck to see how well the Q6600 is shining. I'm gonna leave it to run, and as usual I'll come back when it's done. I don't want to make the video too long. Let's see how it starts. Already much better, 70 frames per second. Okay, the testing is done. There's quite a massive difference. 13.7K 3D Max, Details showing 40 FPS in the first, 41 in the second, 91 in the third, and 52 in the last one, deep freeze. So it looks like that we might be bottlenecked by the CPU, because these are not quite high frame rates for this GPU. I was expecting a bit more. Let's have a look how it performs in games. So the first one I'm gonna go for, it's the Prince of Persia, Sands of Time. Okay. Please log in as administrator. What does has to do with anything? Maybe I need to insert the disk first. Let's try that one. I'll try the LightScribe drive, so you can guys hear how noisy it is. Yeah, I'm guessing disk one is the play disk. Okay, this one doesn't want to open as well. And it did perfectly before. I don't understand. It might be something on the IDE not working well on the cable. It's preventing these units to open up. Gonna use the LightScribe instead. The Blu-ray, sorry. That one opens just fine. Okay. We got the auto run menu. Insert CD2 to play. Okay, it's always the other one. Always. Bit annoying. Okay, let's see now. Play. The speed on the memory, which is set by default by BIOS, it's 680 megahertz. Okay, so it took a PC reboot in order to work. Let's get into the game. I'm gonna put it on activate afterburner and put it on maximum settings. Okay, it doesn't allow us 12. Okay, fine. High. Advanced. VSync disable. I'm gonna disable VSync to see how many FPS it can push. Right. Okay. Wow. 200 plus FPS. It's unreal.
I think I felt regret as I gazed upon the destruction we had wrought, or at least humility at the speed with which a world can be transformed from a good world into a hell. If you think so, you are mistaken. For in that moment I thought of one thing only. The honor and glory I would bring my father by fighting like a warrior.
Yeah, so it is 160 FPS at the moment. Probably I'm gonna use this GPU on the Dell system from previous video. I'll put a link in the chat so you can watch that video if you want. Yeah, it doesn't seem like the CPU is bottlenecking in these older titles, so the GPU can do a lot of work. It's really fluent. Yeah, it's much better. I have never played this game on such a high FPS. I remember when this game was launched, I had barely 20 FPS. I used to have a GeForce MX 440. It was struggling with this game. But then again, I used to play it on 800 by 600. That was my monitor back then. It was a small CRT. Okay, we got a runner in here, but I'm more curious about Doom 3 because that did not play well at all on the old Dell.
Do you wish me to leave before finishing my story?
Let's see how it fares in Doom. Okay, we're in Doom 3. I've put all settings on max, all options on. Resolution 1280 by 1024, the monitor's resolution. Showing 62 FPS in the menu. It looks like the CPU cores loads are all over the place. I'm not sure if Afterburner is reading it right. Do we have any save? No, okay, yeah. System is currently using and it's increasing. 1.6 gigabytes of RAM, 1.7, let's see, yeah, closer. Okay, what happened? Why is it not starting? Right.
Incoming transport detected.
I think I'm gonna skip this one. It's quite a lengthy one. Okay, all the cutscenes are skipped. So, in the initial scene of the game, I don't know, I think we are CPU limited. Because sometimes the cores are just jumping 100 very quick. Keeps jumping from core to core. The GPU is barely doing anything. It's 46 degrees. I don't think Afterburner is reading it right because the load is just from 0 to 40. Keeps alternating. I'm not sure what's going on.
Welcome to Mars. All new arrivals need to check in at reception.
Unique Aerospace's premier research facility. To expedite your processing, please proceed directly to reception.
I'm gonna need you to step on one of those.
So the bottom line is,
on the floor for a bioscan. This will only take a second.
I don't know what the guys at ID Software were doing, or id Software, some people call it. But here on the back it says that the best card supported by the game is, I don't know if the camera would catch it, is the GeForce 6800, which could be Ultra or something. That was the fastest when this game was released. This R9 290X, it's much newer and much faster. And this game was actually released, it says here on the disc, 2004. This quad-core CPU was not released. It was released, I think, 3 or 4 years later. So it's a much newer CPU with much newer GPU, and the game is still struggling to maintain 60 FPS. So I'm not sure what were they doing when they designed this game, but it was definitely not ready in 2004, and I believe it's not ready in 2008. I think this is a 2008 CPU. I think the game would run properly on 2014 hardware, to be honest. So if I'm gonna build a newer system, I'm gonna try it on the much newer system. But Doom 3, it's very demanding game. So it doesn't work well, even on it's CPU bound. So what's the bottom line of the video? I'm very happy. I'm a bit sad that the beta motherboard doesn't work, but I have 2 functional CPUs, 2 functional optical units, from one of which is a Blu-ray player, a sound card. Probably I need to look for better drivers because EAX was not recognized in Doom when I went on settings. Quite powerful wireless card, which is functional, 2 nice CPU coolers. That Zalman is amazing, and 2 graphics cards, which one of them it's more like a display adapter, the 6450, but the 4850 it would be very suitable for early Windows XP years, like Windows like 2002, 2003, 4 games, and playing also, you know, prior to 1997, 1998, 1999 games as well. So that would do very well with a system like that. Yeah, this is a win for me. So I'll probably use some of these parts to build some PC in the future. But I need to find a more suitable GPU which doesn't bottleneck. So it's not too fast. It would be, you know, working very well with the Core 2 quads. So yeah, thanks very much for watching, and see you in another video later on. Bye.